Dude, they steal it, like the whole thing. This is crazy. I haven't even really looked through this yet. This is Crime Wave and you're watching One Stripe. So I formed a passion for art when I was a little kid. I was like 5 or 6. Like all my friends and shit, they would, collect Pokemon cards, Dragon Ball Z, like watch anime and stuff. I always thought it was way cooler to draw things. I had a set of Pokemon cards and then I had a set of like the drawings I would do of them. I never had like an art background as far as like my parents go. My mom had like an art gallery when we lived in South America for like 6 years, and I remember me and my brother would be there all the time, but I don't even think that influenced it. I just think, just seeing Dragon Ball Z characters was like super cool to me. So I was like, you know what, why don't I just put it on a piece of paper myself? Or I would print out like a Dragon Ball Z character, like a scene from like Broly versus Goku, put it up on my sliding door, tape a piece of paper over it, and I would trace over it. And I would do that for everything. And then like one time, I drew like all of the Dragon Ball Z characters on my wall in my room in pencil. My dad came home and he was actually super supportive. He like got me Sharpies and I like inked it onto my wall, like all the characters, that like huge cover of all the Dragon Ball Z characters standing next to each other. I would like draw like Baker skateboards and shit like that, like Zero on my bed frames and stuff. And my parents were always cool and supportive of it. So yeah, that was cool. And that's kind of like how I got into this whole thing in the beginning.
Do you remember your first piece of artwork? Do you remember what it was?
I mean, no. I was probably just like drawing random shit all the time, but a big moment in my career was when I started drawing again. There was like this huge 10-year break growing up that I didn't draw at all. Like I didn't care for it because I fell in love with skateboarding like when I was like 12 or 13. A week before I transferred to UCLA, I tore my ACL, fucked my knee completely. Yeah, and then I transferred to UCLA, and a week after that, I was in my dorm room, super upset, depressed, because I didn't do anything other than skateboarding. Plus I was like put in this situation where I'm not like the hardest school in the fucking nation, and I didn't care for it at all. So like, that was like the struggle that I had with my parents, is they always wanted me to, be a successful whatever. I just picked up a pencil, drew like a skull, and I got back into it. And then I realized like, holy fuck, like, all these years, now that my brain has developed, sure, I drew a long time ago, but now that I've seen all these things and I've had life experiences, like I can apply that to art. So it was like one huge wave of like inspiration, I guess, and I just started like busting out drawings all the time.
Where do you find inspiration like to create more art?
I find it in everything, honestly. Like if you look at the shit I've done in the past, like I'm always changing things here and there. I think it's really cool. I always make this joke how like, I'm like, yeah, dude, I could take anything and just throw a skull on it and people will be like, wow, that's so fucking cool. It all depends like on what you're feeling at the time. I don't know, it just pops up in your head.
What's your favorite design that you've ever made?
Probably the Jewel Jesus. That's my magnum opus. It's funny.
What's your favorite like artist?
6ix9ine.
Do you think art should be original in order to get respect?
I have a huge problem with people that think because artwork isn't necessarily original, it's not respectable. So first of all, nothing is like completely original. Everything stems from something. It's great and stuff, and I think that deserves a lot of respect. Just like me, I love doing rips of like old shit that I see, and I was like struggling with it a lot in my career because there were certain things that I love to do and people would just hate on me all the time. Like there was this like Russian tattoo artist that I thought his work was really cool before I even started like my career as a graphic designer, artist, whatever. And like, even some of my friends would be like, oh, like, aren't you just copying that guy? And it was really frustrating because like people's initial reaction is to like hate on everything that you do. And I hate that because what it does is it deters people from being creative. And my stuff is, for the most part, like very original now, like other than like me ripping stuff and like making my own shit out of it. I try to keep it as original as possible, especially now that it's a business, like I can't do that anymore. And I still do it for fun sometimes, like shit I don't post on my page, but it's a huge problem. Like I think everybody deserves respect when they're trying something new, like putting their heart into something. Like who cares, like just do what you want to do.
So what's your reaction to people when they hate on you, like if you were to rip something from somebody else? Even for fun or like for sale or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
I honestly I don't care anymore. Like enjoy like talking shit to people. You know, it's fun like putting people in their place. Like they're like, oh, that's a Simpsons reference. I'm like, no shit. Like this design wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for that reference. Click on their profile and they're wearing like a Supreme shirt, and it's like, dude, that's funny because Supreme stole that and you bought it on resale for like $250. You know, like it doesn't make any sense to me. But that's the thing. You know, people just love hating. So I mean, let them. You know, like who cares?
What's your favorite piece of art of all time? Like your work, somebody else's work? Doesn't matter.
My favorite piece of art? Shit, I don't know. The Statue of Liberty. That's pretty cool. They made it like 100 years ago or something, and they shipped it. They shipped it to the US. Like, that's crazy. And then they built it. Actually, my favorite art is like buildings in general. Like, you ever look at like wherever you are and you're just like, dude, what the fuck? Who did that?
Okay, at what time did you realize artwork would be your profession?
I never really felt like it was going to be. I didn't start making my artwork just because I wanted to sell it. It just kind of happened that way. I was at UCLA and I was super unhappy, like, you know, writing essays and doing homework and taking tests and shit, and I was arguing a lot with my dad. He's like my #1 fan now, but like he just wants me to be successful and happy, you know. And especially immigrant parents, like it's hard for them to wrap their mind around you doing something that isn't being a doctor, a lawyer, stuff like that. Like this is really special to me because I'm doing something outside of the box, you know. And you have to think about like your friends that enjoy doing this shit with you, and like the memories that you create and stuff like that. A lot of people don't have that, and it's a blessing, you know. Like you have to be super happy for it. Like sometimes I just sit down, I'm like, damn dude, like this is crazy, you know. Like this guy from fucking Denmark or like Germany, whatever, anywhere in the world, they say they appreciate my work. When you work really hard and you get stuff like that, it's a really good feeling.
How do you feel when like people frame your artwork or like tattoo it?
I think it's incredible. I mean, I got a DM from one of my followers today. He got a Crime Wave tattooed on his arm right here, and it's an incredible feeling. And I know like some people were mad at me a couple of weeks ago because I was like, you know, it'd be cool if people want, and I always tell people like, hey, if you want to get my artwork tattooed, I'm totally cool with it. I have no problem with it. And I just tell them like, hey, you know, if you want to support me, like, you know, you can shoot me a bill, whatever, you know, I'm not tripping. So it's cool, you know, and most people are super respectful. They're like, dude, fuck yeah, like I got you, you know. So that's a great feeling because I'm sure they understand the struggle too. Like you're trying to make it as an artist, you know, and that's tough.
How do you feel with working with like big brands?
Me personally, I enjoy working with smaller brands more because when you're working with big brands or big people, there's a lot of like politics involved, and you have to go through certain people, and you have to talk to someone and they have to approve it, and they talk to somebody else, and it's like this huge mess, and sometimes it takes months, you know. And then I like working with startup brands more because it seems like they're a lot more appreciative of me and my work, you know, as opposed to like, hey, we need something done. Like it means a lot to me when people, you know, like take the time to write like a message to me like, I love your work, I'd love if we could work on something together. That stokes me out a lot because it's more intimate, you know, like you build a connection with people. When you're starting out, don't focus on the bigger people. Don't think like, dude, if I work with this rapper or this brand or whatever, I'm gonna have my big break and, you know, it's gonna be great, because it doesn't work like that. Like, I think it's very important to just, you know, focus on working with people around you that want to grow too, and just make sure that, you know, they're stoked on what you're doing, and like building a good connection with people around you, because ultimately those are the people that are always going to be there, like cheering you on, rooting you on, like, hey man, that was a sick design you did today. Because a lot of companies, you know, you do something with them and it's like, all right, thanks for your time, man, talk to you later, you know.
Why is most of your work on Instagram in black and white?
I like telling the point of the graphic as opposed to packing it with detail and like coloring it, and, you know, because when you do like a huge design and there's so much going on, sometimes it's hard to see the meaning behind it. And I think personally, I think it's really cool when something is simple and to the point, you know, like you get it immediately, you know what I'm saying?
How do you feel about making art for people like Lil Pump and Lil Peep? RIPP.
I think it's really cool, you know, the way it happens is really cool. You know, you build a friendship and all of a sudden someone's like, yo dude, this person needs artwork, whatever, you know, and I'm like, yeah dude, let's do it. And you know, I don't get the credit for it really, you know, but it's special to me, you know, like I feel like it's kind of a part of history. Like, you know, I don't care if anybody appreciates my artwork, like I'll work with them regardless of my opinion of their music or, you know, who they are. Like I really don't mind, you know, it's just cool to work with people. And I think it's even cooler that you push your boundaries and make artwork for someone that doesn't fit your style at all, but you're like, you know what, like as an artist or a graphic designer, you want to expand and explore, like see what you could do for someone. Because imagine like Lil Pump wants some merch, right? And like, you know, Lil Pump and his music, it's like, how does that mesh with my artwork? So I was like, dude, what if I do it? You know, and I was like, dude, that's fucking sick, you know. And I would have never thought to do a Lil Pump skull until they wanted to do it.
What were you interested in other than art growing up, like hobbies or like you said skateboarding?
Right. Skateboarding was huge to me, man. I remember, I was watching Baker 3. Andrew Reynolds does this thing where he like, I'm going to sound like an idiot if I don't remember if it was switch or regular. Switch frontside flips is 3 block, or it might have been a regular frontside flip. Hits the cigarette after, you know, and like 13-year-old me was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like that is so cool, you know? He was just like hits it casually. Yeah. And I thought that was, you know, that was like the most amazing thing in the world. So I was like, Mom, like I need you to buy me a skateboard. So we go to like the mom and pop shop from where I grew up, and they gave me like this size 8.5 consolidated deck. And like that's huge for a kid like me. Like my shoe size was like probably 6. So it was like this huge platform, and I was rolling around with it. And then some like jock from my neighborhood was like, yo dude, I'll buy that off you. And I was like, sick, give me like $100 for it. And he's like, cool. So I took that money and I bought a Zero board, and like that was like my first love, you know. I was super stoked on it. I wish I still had it, but one of my other neighbors like stole it from me and like spray painted over it, and I couldn't prove that he had stolen it. And then like 7 years later, I was at the skate park and he was like, yo dude, like I stole your board. And I was like, fuck man, like that sucks. Yeah, skateboarding was amazing. Like I have a lot to thank skateboarding for, because I think also, you know, as far as me getting influenced by like tattoos to start drawing, like skateboarding was a huge part of it, because you see all these decks and you're like, wow dude, that's incredible, you know. I did a collaboration with Real Skateboards, and that was really big to me too, because I've been skateboarding my whole life. My name is on the top of those boards. I gave them to my friends though. I don't even have them anymore. I was trying to find some to buy, but yeah, that was huge for me.
What is being successful to you?
I think success comes from just being happy, you know. Like success for me personally is 100% being able to do what you want when you want.
Oh yeah, what was your first job?
I never had one. Pink Dolphin, technically. Like that was, here's the funny thing is, like growing up, all of my friends had jobs and I was literally so broke all the time. Dude, seriously, like I remember we had this taco spot. They had like these pickled carrots. I would go with my friends. They would order burritos and shit, and I would just eat pickled carrots for dinner. Now it's like, shit dude, like I really stuck it out, and I hope you, and I think it's important to see people that inspire you, copy them. Just copy what they're doing. Like if you like what they're doing, like sure, don't sell their work obviously, right? But like see how they did what they did and try to do it as much as you can. People are gonna hate you for it. I think it's very important to copy people because you understand how those guys got to the point where they did. That's super special. The worst part is this type of growth by copying people or being influenced by them is the most hated on, because you get shit on all the time by your peers. And I think it helps you like develop thicker skin. It helps you develop confidence. Look at my shit and draw it. Like just draw my work and kind of get an idea for how I do things, how I use, you know, like how I shade it in with black, or, you know, little things like that. Because I was doing that, and I like when I was a few years ago, I was doing cross hatching a lot, and I would copy other people that did cross hatching because it's like, dude, it helps me. It's like its own little tutorial, but people are like, dude, that looks exactly like this guy's work. And I'm like, well, shit, I mean, it is, you know, like, fuck. But, like, look where I am now, and, like, these people are still just hating on me. And it's like, well, you know, fuck you, I guess. You shouldn't listen to what other people tell you to do as far as, you know, like anything goes in life. Like if you have a strong feeling towards something, you should always stand by it. Like it sounds super cliche, but like your heart and your mind tell you what you want. And I'm a huge believer that what you put into the universe, like the energy you give out, you get back like a million times over. And I swear it's true. Like you'll see it, you'll see your progression, and you'll be like, damn, dude, remember like 4 years ago when this guy, like I was chasing this guy for $400. I was like, he wanted like 2 designs, right? And I remember for like a month, I was like, hey man, like just checking in with you if you still want to do that artwork. And I look back on it now like, fuck, dude, like look at what I'm doing now, you know? Like no way would I ever chase anybody, you know? If you want to work with me, just shoot me a message, email me, text me, whatever, you know?
What's your opinion on the younger generations?
I mean, I think they're cool. I don't know. I think like kids are kids, you know? They grow up, they learn from their mistakes. We all did, you know, we all did stupid shit. They're into what they're into, and that's just a culture. You can't change it, you know? You just let it phase out. Not that there's nothing even wrong with it, you know? Like, it is what it is.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Beer or alcohol?
Neither.
Tom Brady or Peyton Manning?
I don't know who those are.
Beaches or mountains?
Mountains? Wait, I hate beaches.
Sushi or pizza?
Sushi.
Dragon Ball Z or Naruto?
Dragon Ball Z.
John Lennon or Paul McCartney?
Paul McCartney.
New or old?
New.
LeBron or Jordan?
I don't know who those are.
Done.
LeBron.
That was his best.